Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My topic for today is tables in Cypress. And under the tables in Cypress, we are going to see how to check the number of rows and columns in a table, check cells data from a specific row and column, read all the rows and columns data on the current page and the pagination in the tables. So let's begin. And for that, we are firstly going to visit a website that is demoopencard.com. Over here, we are entering the username demo, the password demo, and then we log in. After that, we have to press this cross, and over in the customer, then in the customers, we are having our table. This is our table on which we are going to perform all of the actions. So let's begin. Firstly, we'll create each block before each block. Basically, the before each block is used when we want to repeat certain function or every it block. So before every it block, we have to just declare once we have to write the it before each block, and it will automatically come before every it block. So we are creating before each login login functionality, then arrow function, and inside the before which we are firstly visiting the website. Then after visiting the website, we are entering the username. For that, cy.get the locator of the username field, inspecting this. Over here we are selecting ID, one on one. Over here cy.get ID dot type and enter demo inside the ID. After that, the locator of the password field, cy.get, here also we are taking ID dot type demo. After typing the username and the password, we have to click the login button, and then we have to enter the locator of that login button over here, and then click click to that button. Now the locator of that login button, we are selecting this attribute as the locator, and after entering the username and the password, then clicking onto the login, we have this pop-up, and over there we have to click on the cross button, and for that the locator of this cross button, over here we are selecting button close class as the locator. giving one-on-one result. Cy dot get the class dot click, clicking onto the cross button. After that, we have to visit over here the customer. So for that, the locator for the customer over here in the li, that is I we are selecting id menu customer by using the css. Then in id customer, inside that anchor tag. Yeah, so it's pointing towards the customers as we can see. Then after clicking on the customer, there's the further drop down for the customer. In that we have to select the first one, and for that we have to and for that by visiting the id, then under the ul tag, under the li tag, then we are having the first one, first child of that customer. So for that we'll be writing id, then ul tag, then li tag, and inside li tag the first one, first child. You can see it points towards the customer. Yes, we can see that. Okay, so over here cy dot get dot click. Let's write dot only over here as we are performing firstly on this. Control S and saving that. npx Cypress open. As we can see, it's visiting the website and entering the username and password. After that, going to the customer, and now other customer, and then here's the table on which we are going to perform all of the actions. So for that, firstly, the first thing we are going to do is check the number of rows and columns in our table. And for that, firstly, we'll find the locator of the table. So over here inside the customer, this is our table. And to find the locator, we can like simply type table over here. We can see this is our table. This points towards our table. And so by using CSS in the table tag, inside the table class, that is we are taking the class that is table border table hover. So for this, black plates class, and inside the table class, what we are having, we want to visit to the rows, and inside the table we are having t body for the rows, and in the t body we are having multiple rows. We can see this points towards first row, second row, third row, and so on. So over here t body, and inside the t body we are having tr, that is table row. So it shows 10 results, 1 out of 10 results. We can see there are 10 number of rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So This is the locator we have created by CSS, and we are going to enter this over here, cy.get the locator, and after that, by using validation, by using should, we can verify that it is exactly the same number of rows or not. Should have dot length. Dot length is a function which tells the length to be 10. The number of the strings and the number of the rows should be 10. So let's see. Control S. Yes, we can see the number of rows 10. The assertion has also passed over here. So therefore, the test case is passed. That means we have we know how to visit to the number of how to visit the rows in a table, how to check the number of rows in a table, that is 10. So similarly we can do with the columns also. Cy.get. Now similarly we'll create the locator of the columns also. Over here, by visiting the table, firstly the table tag, then the class of that, and inside, earlier we were doing t body, now we'll take t head, and inside the t head we are having tr, and inside tr we are having td. So over here, t head, inside that tr, inside that td. So it's showing 7 results. As we can see, there are 7 number of columns: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Similarly, we'll copy this and we'll paste over here. Dot should the assertion have dot length, that should be 7 this time. Control S. Now we'll see the results. Yes, this is our previous assertion that was 10, and this is our current assertion that was to have length of 7, and we can see we are having 7 number of columns over here in this, and by this way we can check the number of the rows and columns present inside the table. So the next thing we are going to do is checking the cell data from a specific row and column in a table, and now we are having dot only over here. This. So for this, suppose let's say I want to check the data. I want to read the data of this particular field. This particular field, that is fifth number of row and third number of column. For that, we would be creating our locator, that would be the table tag, and inside the table, the class of that table, and the class, then we are having t body, and inside the t body, table row, and the table row should be, it should be fifth number of row. For that we are using nth child method, nth child, and inside the child we are passing 5. That means the fifth row, and this whole row gets selected, and in the fifth row we want to select the third column, that is 1, 2, 3, this field. And for that we'll be using inside the td, after that inside the tr, after that td, nth child, yeah, we can see it is pointing towards this particular cell. So we'll copy this, cy dot get the locator, and now we'll be using dot contains method to check that what we are checking for, it contains that particular field or not. So over here we'll copy the text of this field and then pasting it over here. Dot contains, it should validate that it should contain this. So so saving this, and we can see now the test case has passed, and we have seen the cell data of the we have did seen the data of that particular cell by creating locator by using css and nth child and passing the number of cell, that is number of row and number of the column. And we can see the assertion that is the contains has also passed over here. It is showing the exact same result and the test case has approved. So now we have seen how to check the number and rows in and columns in a table, check the cell data from a specific row and column, and now we'll be checking reading all the rows and columns data on a current page. For that, before reading all the data, firstly we'll be getting the locator of that, and for that the table, the ID of the class of that table, then T body, inside the T body, the TR. Firstly, we'll be visiting all the rows present in the table. It shows the 10 result. We'll be copying this. Then over here, cy.get this locator, and after that we'll be using dot each method. It would visit each of the row present inside the table, that is each one of the row out of 10 number of rows, and inside the each we'll be passing three parameters, that is firstly dollar row index, then dollar rows. Mainly, dollar row points towards the current row on which we are visiting, the index of that row, and the total number of rows. These three parameters basically means this. After we will be creating an arrow function for this, and inside the arrow function we'll be wrapping the content all the rows. We'll be wrapping using the wrap function for wrapping all the content, and inside the wrap we'll be passing dollar row for that particular row, and inside that within we'll be using within function. That means for that particular row, within that particular row, I want to have the text, I have to have the column, basically column of that particular row. So within, again the arrow function, and inside that cy dot get, this time we are getting ed, this the particular cell inside the row, and again each for that columns inside that particular row. And here we are passing three arguments, that would be dollar column index, dollar all number of columns, similarly like that of the row. And inside this each block we'll be getting the text of that particular cell inside the row. For that, we want that text to be printed using cy.log, and inside that the particular cell, that particular column dot using text method for finding the text. Yeah, Control S. Now, now we can see, yeah. So over here, it has printed all of the columns. That is, we can see from over here, this is the first one, this is the second, as we can see, the first one, the second one, the third one default, the fourth one enabled, and similarly for the next row, the first one exclamatory hash, the second one OLOA, the third one default, and similarly for all the number of rows in the current page. This way, we can we can read all the rows and columns data present on the current page. And now the last thing we have to learn is the pagination. So for the pagination, first of all, we need to get all the total number of the pages. So let's see how to find the total number of rows. Firstly, we'll need to capture the entire text of the number of the rows. That is this. We'll be capturing this firstly. And from that, and from this element, we need to find out particularly this one to extract the number. So for that, inside this, firstly we'll remove only. Firstly, finding the total number of pages. So for that, cy dot get, and inside that, the locator for this, and over here class is the locator, selecting class as the locator. We are having, yes, one-on-one result. Copying this and pasting over here, cy.get the class, and after visiting to the whole, after getting the locator of this whole, we want the particular locate, we want to visit this particular text, we have to extract the number. So for that, after entering the locator, we'll be using dot then method, dot then, and then we are passing any variable for storing the data, and then creating the arrow function for that. And inside the arrow function, we'll be creating a variable, let's say let my text, let my equal to, and inside the variable we want to access that particular number of pages, and for that we have to select from that e is storing all of the pages, and we'll be using e dot the text for showing 1 to 10 of the number of the pages, that is showing the text of this, showing this. For that, e dot text semicolon. From this entire text we have to capture, from the entire text, let's firstly comment this. This shows we have to write this. Yes. So from this entire text we have to capture just the 13389 text. Firstly we need to get the index of the opening bracket, this, and then we need to do plus 1, so that's exactly pointing to the first index of this. And when you want to get the index of the pages, we need to do minus 1, that points the last element of the pages. We have to select the pages, and then we have to do the minus one that shows the last element. Firstly the bracket, and then plus one, and then this, and then minus one. So let's see how it works. For that, we are taking that my text dot, we are using substring method. We are creating a substring, and in the substring we pass two arguments. That is, the first one is the first one we would be passing would be this, and the second one would be passing is this. So in the substring we are passing the index of my, we are passing my text dot index of method, and in the index of method we have to find the index of this bracket, and then after finding the index we have to do plus 1, and after that this is the first parameter, and the second parameter is my text dot similarly index of index of pages, then minus 1. Yeah. So for that, after this will return the starting index of that number, and this will return the ending index of the number. So we want to view that. For viewing, we'll be writing cy.log, then the total number of pages, and after that we have to refer to this. So let's store this in a variable that, let's say, total pages equal to this, and after this the total pages concatenation operator, and then the total page is this. Control S, let's see the result now. As we can see, this will return the actual number of the pages, that is 1339. We can see 1339, and this is 1339. So the test case has passed and it has returned the actual number of the pages. So now we need to get the data from the table. So we can click the first page, that is by default. We can get the data of the from the first page. The first page, this is by default. We click the second and read the data. We click the second page and then read the data. We click the third page and read the data, and so on. We click the last page and then read the data. For that, we are creating a loop. So for that, firstly, we'll comment this up. Yeah. After that, For that, firstly we are creating a variable. We are taking five number of pages. Just we are doing it just for five number of pages because it would get lengthy for so many number of pages. We are creating a variable like total pages equal to 5. And after that we are creating a loop, that is for loop, and inside the for we are creating let t, that is the starting in the, that is initialization of the variable t1, and the condition that p should be less than the total pages. After that, incrementing the number of the pages, p plus plus. Okay. Yeah, so inside the for loop, we are creating another loop that points that the pages should be greater than 1. For that, we are writing if the total number of pages is greater than 1, then print cy.log, then print active page is p, and cy.log again print the locator of this, that would be, that is the ul class pagination, the ul, inside the ul the class, and inside the class we are having the li elements that points towards the all of the number of the pages, and inside that class li, and in the li we have to select the nth child, and in the nth child we are passing the parameter that is p. So we'll copy this over here, cy.log, cy.log nth child, and in the nth child we are passing the p by using p. This is the locator we are having. So we are printing this, and open. Now we have to learn how to read the data from the each of the page. For that we'll be using the logic, that is cy dot get the table rows. Similarly, like that, that was table, the class of the table, table, the class of the table, then table body, then tr. all of the number, all of the rows. We have learned how to visit to the different number of the pages. We have visited to the different number of pages by using this logic, and after that inside the get we are visiting the rows, and inside the rows we are entering the locator for the rows, and inside that we'll be using dot each method. Similarly like that, then dollar row index and dollar number of rows. After that, arrow function, creating the arrow function. Inside this arrow function, we'll be entering cy.wrap, wrapping everything inside the row, and within that row, inside that row, we'll be using within method and the arrow function for that. Inside that, cy.get the locator of the columns, that is the locator cy. Inside the column, that is the locator, that is td, and let's say the nth child 3, the third number of row. After that, dot, then inside we are storing it inside the variable named e, then the arrow function. After that, printing that cy dot log e dot text, the text of that, inside the text of that, all the data present inside the e we are printing that, that is e is the, that is the third column. We have selected the third column, and the third column over here is email. We are getting the data of the email address. So this is how we need to write. Firstly, capture all the rows, read each and every row, wrap the particular row, go inside that row and get the third column from that, and then get the text from that particular column. This is how we read the particular data from that particular column or that particular row. So Control S and we'll see the output and get the data of that all the cells present over there. And we can see that we got the result of all the uh, data cells present inside. We can see that. So the total number of pages is 5, so 5 times it would be executed. That's all about it, and hopefully you will like this session. So thank you everyone.